Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. What have we got an awesome little animation for you today? We've got three little modules here, and as you can see they're fading from image to text. As one fades out, another one fades in. And when that one fades out, another one fades in. If I put my mouse over any of them, it'll stop and show us the text there. Really easy to do. Got to do a little bit of CSS coding for this today, but don't let that put you off. Any code I write, as usual, I'll put it down the bottom and you're welcome to use it. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's roll down to where we want to work. I'll delete this row and we'll start from scratch. Okay, well let's add a new row, little green button to add a new row. I'm going to put 3 columns in mine. Obviously you put as many or as few as you want to make yours work today. And I'm going to use a little blurb module for mine. This will work with any module you want. I'm just going to use the blurb module because it's got a title and a bit of text there. Let's get rid of that image. I don't want an image in there, so I'm going to roll down to image and icon. Let's move this a little bit closer. Hit the little trash can to get rid of the image. Still in content, I'm going to give mine a background color. I'm going to make mine black for simplicity. And I want to make that text stand out a bit more and pop it in the middle. So I'm going to go over to design, down to text. I'm going to align it in the middle. I'm going to make it light in color so we can see it. And let's give it, say, 30 pixels all round spacing. So if I roll down to spacing, padding, I'm going to put 30 pics in there, just put in the 30 or put in the pics, hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side for you. Then we'll do the same for the left and right. Great. Now while I'm here, I'm going to save that and duplicate it a couple of times. To duplicate, just hit the 2 little squares right there. There's 1, there's 2. I'm going to drag one into each of these other columns. Now if you wanted to, the likelihood of you actually having the same amount of text in each module is pretty rare. So let's go into one and we'll get rid of some of the text from more real world situation there. And let's get rid of the text on this one also. Okay, so that's more like you're going to have in a real world situation, not going to have the same amount of text in each one, but you kind of want to make them all the same height. So to do that, we can go to our one that's the tallest here. We'll go in there. We'll go over to design and sizing, roll down to height, and we'll drag it until it's about the right height that we want it. It's about right. Let's round it down to 275. That'll work for me. Well, we can do the same for the rest of them. And if we're using this on responsive devices, we can do the same by rolling up over the dark writing. And this is common to all Divi modules. Go to the thing you want to adjust, the height. There's a little mobile phone icon there. Click on it. We can set a different value for tablet. Got tablet, we need to make that a lot bigger. Let's make it, say, 300. Whatever works for you. And let's check it on mobile. And that's actually going to work fine on mobile there. So let's go back to our desktop now. And we can copy those settings over to our other modules. We can go to our module and right click on the dark tab for the module. And we can say extend module styles, or extend blurb styles in this case. We want to extend it to this particular row. So I can hit this row, hit the extend. Now we've got them all the same height there, which is just what we want. Fantastic. Okay, well we want images behind these so that we can fade these in and out with the images appearing. And to do this, we need to go into the row and put the images in the actual column behind. So let's go into the row. I'm going to go into column 1, background, We're going to add an image. We've got color, gradient, image, video, background pattern or background mask. I'm going to go for an image. There, we'll pop an image in. We'll save that. We're going to the next one. In the content, column 2, add a background image again. Pop that one in. And similar for number 3, back in the main row settings, on the content column. And we'll add a background image to our third one. Fantastic. But of course we can't see any of these because they're behind our modules there. So this is where we're going to write some CSS code to have them fade in and out. Now I'm going to use a code module for this today. So I'm going to add a new little row just below this one. I'm going to add a single column. Inside that column, I'm going to put a code module. Now we're going to be using CSS for this today. So I need to open and close some style tags. And the style tags are the only thing I can't put below the video because of the pointy brackets. So it's left pointy, the word style, and right pointy, and it'll put in the closing style tag for you. The only difference there is the closing one has got a / in front of it. Okay, well, we've got to come up with a class name for this. So let's call it like image fade or something like that. Call it what you like. It wants to be unique though. So I'm going to say image fade. And we'll open and close some curly brackets. And I want to create an animation. So I'm going to say animation, colon. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call mine imfd1 perhaps. Again, you can call yours what you want. I like mine to make sense to me. So that's my shorthand for image fade 1 if you like. And I want it to take 12 seconds. 12 seconds to go through the animation that we're going to create in a moment. And I want it to keep going and going and going. So I'm going to say infinite. Great. We've now got to create this animation. We're going to be using keyframes to do this. So I'm going to drop down. I'm going to say at keyframes. The name of our animation, which is imft1. Now we can open and close some more curly brackets and decide what we want to do in there. Well, over our 12-second period, when it starts off, I'm going to have the opacity set to 0, so you won't be able to see the actual text module there. So I'm going to say 0%, or basically when the page loads, open and close some more curly brackets. I'm going to say opacity 0, which is invisible. I'm going to copy that. And about 2/3 of the way along, because I want it to stay there for a few seconds once the image appears, I'm going to bring it back in. So let's say it's 66% or 66.66%, I guess would be more accurate. So I'm going to copy that, Control C, I'm going to drop down. I'm going to change the 0 to 66.66, and I'm going to change that opacity 1. And I want it to stay there from there until 100%. Drop down at 100%. I'm going to go back to opacity 0 again. Now to make this actually happen, I need to give this module that class name. So let's copy the class name without the dot when we're applying it to something. You just need the dot in front when we're writing the code. Control C. Let's go into our module now. Over to Advanced, CSS IDs and Classes. CSS class, make sure you put it in class and not ID. As you can see, there it is. And we got that text fading in. It's staying there. And then it's going to fade back out and reveal the image again. But when they hover over it, I want it to stop and just reveal the actual text itself. So let's go back into our code module. And just after that last curly bracket right there, I'm going to drop down. I'm going to copy my class name up there with the dot. Right after the E with no gap, I'm going to put a colon and no gap again in the word hover, so we can set a hover state. Let's open and close some curly brackets. And I'm going to say animation, colon none. So it's going to have no animation when they hover over it. As you can see, it's animating now. If I do this, it'll stop and we can sit there and read. Take it off, the animation will start again. That's great, but I want our other two to do something similar, but at different rates. So the easiest way to do this, I'm going to copy the whole thing from the dot of the imfade class name there to the last curly bracket of our hover state there. Control C, I'm going to drop down, paste it, Control V, and I'm going to call this one imfade 2. And the animation, I'm going to make that a 2. And we're going to make it 4 seconds longer. That'll be 16. And I've got to change the IMFD2 down here also. Everything else I'm going to leave the same. Imfade 2 hover. Make it work on that one as well. And I'm going to do this once more. From the dot of imfade 2 to the last curly bracket there. Control C. Drop down. Control V to paste. And I'm going to change this one to 3. Funnily enough. Same for the animation name. I'm going to up the timing on this one to 20 seconds. So there'll be a 4-second difference between each of those, so they should sort of fade in and out after each other. And I've got to change our little hover state on that one also. And we should be good to go. I'm just going to copy this class name. We'll go into this module. Over to Advanced. CSS IDs and classes in the CSS class, and I'll pop that in there. I'm actually going to change that one to a 2. I'm going to go into our next module. Over to Advanced, Custom CSS, CSS IDs and classes, class name, imfade 3, fantastic. Just to finish off, I really want to give it a little more space between the top, because I've got that little triangle at the bottom of that one. Let's give it our little row here a little more space. So I'm going to go into the whole row itself. I'm going to give it a bit of extra padding on the top. Over to design, spacing, padding top. Let's give it, say, 50 pixels. Great. Okay. Well, let's save our changes and make sure this is all going to work on the front end. Hit the little purple button. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And let's exit the Visual Builder. And there we have it. There's our little animations there. As one fades in and fade out, another one's going to fade in, fade out, third one's going to fade in, fade out. And that's a really nice eye-catching effect to have on your site. Of course, it will work on tablet and mobile, but they'll have to tap on it to stop it animating like that. But that's entirely up to you. And again, once you take your mouse off, it'll start reanimating. So there you go, guys. That's a great little feature to have on your website. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them or make a demo video for you. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.